Today, on Documentify TV, we were pondering something that stretches back thousands of years. How did ancient civilizations read the sky? Did they know something that we don't understand? Or was it just trial and error and observation? Let's start with a mind-blowing thought. Long before smartphones, GPS, or even written language, our ancestors were masters of the sky. Imagine looking up without light pollution, with nothing but your eyes and years of passed-down knowledge. These weren't primitive people. They were brilliant observers, scientists in their own right, who could read the cosmos like we read our daily news. But how did they do it? How could people without modern technology create such precise astronomical alignments? We can only imagine it was generations of careful watching. Every night, someone would mark the position of stars. Every solstice, someone would note exactly where the sun rose or set. Think about a community where storytelling wasn't just entertainment, it was survival. Elders would pass down observations that might have taken hundreds of years to compile. Remember how the shadow falls on this rock during the winter solstice? A simple statement that carried centuries of collective knowledge. Let's take Stonehenge as our first example. Researchers believe the people who built this monument used incredibly simple but clever tools. Wooden stakes, stretched strings, and careful observation were their primary instruments. They would have driven stakes into the ground, tracked shadow lengths, and used these markers to understand solar movements with astonishing accuracy. One fascinating theory suggests they used what's called counting sticks. Imagine keeping track of days by moving a stick or making a mark, but doing this so precisely that you could predict celestial events years in advance. Some anthropologists believe ancient cultures used lunar cycles and careful counting to create what we'd now call astronomical calendars. At Chaco Canyon, archaeologists discovered something truly remarkable. The Puebloan people didn't just observe the sky, they integrated it into their entire way of life. They created what researchers call sun-watching sites, specific locations where particular rock formations or building walls would interact with sunlight during specific times of the year. Take the Sun Dagger site, for instance. It's not just a random rock carving. It's a sophisticated solar calendar. During solstices, sunlight passes through specific gaps in the rocks, creating precise light patterns. This wasn't luck. This was generations of careful observation and mathematical thinking. The Mayans took astronomical knowledge to another level. Their understanding was so advanced that they created multiple calendars: solar calendars, lunar calendars, and even Venus calendars. At Chichen Itza, the pyramid isn't just a building, it's a massive computational device. Those 91 steps on each of the 4 sides, plus the top platform, create a perfect representation of the 365-day solar year. But here's something truly fascinating. How did they measure so precisely without modern tools? Anthropologists believe they used something called horizon astronomy. This means carefully tracking where celestial bodies rise and set against natural landscape features. A mountain peak, a distant tree line, these became their measuring instruments. In Machu Picchu, the Intihuatana stone is a perfect example of this precision. During equinoxes, it casts no shadow at noon. This wasn't a lucky accident. This required understanding the exact tilt of the Earth, the precise location of the site, and generations of careful observation. The ancient Egyptians might have been the most sophisticated of all. At the Giza Plateau, researchers believe they used techniques that would surprise modern engineers. They likely used water-filled trenches as perfectly level surfaces, used the stars for alignment, and had mathematical knowledge that allowed them to create incredibly precise structures. Some researchers, like Robert Bauval, even proposed that the pyramids mirror the stars of Orion's belt. While most scientists are skeptical of the more mystical interpretations, it's hard to deny the incredible astronomical knowledge these cultures possessed. Modern technology has given us incredible tools, but in many ways, we've lost something our ancestors had: a deep, personal connection with the natural world. They didn't just observe the sky, they were part of it. They understood that we aren't separate from the universe, but a fundamental part of its incredible, interconnected system. These monuments are more than stone and alignment. They are messages from our ancestors whispering, "We were here, we understood, we were connected." Their legacy reminds us that human curiosity knows no bounds. From the misty mornings of Stonehenge to the high peaks of Machu Picchu, from the Mexican pyramids to the American Southwest, our ancestors looked up and saw not just stars, but an entire universe of possibility. That's it for today's video, folks. See you next time, right here on Documentify TV.